Welcome to Recycling in Lunasea with Love Joanna. I'm Joanna and this is my home, Lunasea. And it's not, as you might think, a home of madness, but it's a name I chose because I love the moon, Luna, and the sea. And this name's reflected in my very repetitive front fence, pattern of waves and moons. It's also reflected in my recycled shark. And I've spent 20 years in a labour of love, upcycling, recycling, installing, creating, and this is really a celebration of the love I've poured into Lunasea. So each episode, I'm going to take you to a different section of my home and garden, and I'm going to show you how I've taken quite ordinary things and made them extraordinary. So this episode, let's go to the front section. Follow me. Now, here I am, recycled as a garden bed, and I want to tell you the story of how this came about. When my daughter was 10 years old, which is 3 decades ago, yes, 3 decades, 30 years ago, she designed a bed just like this for me, and I sleep in this bed in my bedroom in my house. And I call it my bed of great ideas. And often I'm just lying in my bed of great ideas and I get one of those light bulb moments. And a few years ago, that's exactly what happened. And a little voice in my head said, "Joanna, why don't you elevate this bed and create a garden bed in your garden? And also, why don't you create an outdoor bedroom?" So that's exactly what I've done. So I've recycled, you can see here a recycled dressing table on this side with succulents coming out the drawers. A dear friend of mine said, "Joanna, why don't you take this lampshade? Because I'd love you to have this for your lampstand in your outdoor bedroom." I also thought I want to put something here just to bring the love of a family member. So I have my mother's jug here. It's not her urn, she's not in this jug, but it's a lovely memory of her. There's a little memory of me down here when I was much younger, and this is when I used to get quite excited about plunging into the ocean. It's a bit of a far memory now. So then I thought, look, I have to extend this bedroom a bit further. So come with me and I'll introduce you to Jazz. Now Jazz is my beloved ex-model and mannequin. And when I was going through my upcycling clothing phase, she was so patient with me. She stood patiently as I used to wrench off her arms and hurl clothes over her head and body. And one day I was in my bed of great ideas and that little voice said, "Joanna, why don't you give Jazz the retirement she deserves?" And I did. So here she is, and I thought she might like to stand here and just reflect on the diverse life she's had with me. And at the time she stood here, for the very first time, I was in a bit of a Yayoi Kusama phase myself, and I was painting the dots on the wallpaper, and I was in a bit of another world, and when I finished I realised that she'd been standing there too, but she's quite happy. She's quite happy. Now I want to tell you about my French doors. These French doors used to be on my house, and unfortunately when I created them and designed them, this door, the right-hand one, overlapped the front door, which wasn't very helpful. So I thought, Joanna, why not recycle them as your outdoor bedroom wall? And why not create a feeling of love, of welcome? And so you can't actually walk through this door because you'd be in the neighbour's yard, and I've got snake mesh there, but it gives that wonderful symbolism of love and acceptance. And also I have some keys here. I don't know don't know about you, but I cull. You know, I'm a culler. And I was going through an old biscuit tin the other day, and I thought, these are keys that I've had all my life. All my life I've had these keys, and they've unlocked many doors. They've been keys of great opportunity. So I thought, Joanna, why not recycle them? Why not put them out here in the breeze so they can just symbolise this wonderful life that I've had? So you too might decide to cull, and your motto might be like mine, out with the old, in with the new. And here are my garden clogs. Now in Australia, it's very risky to run about your garden with bare feet, because there are so many things in the garden that not only bite you, but they can actually kill you. You know, there's ants, spiders, lizards, very dangerous snakes, possibly a few slugs. So this is in memory of wearing protective footwear and my love of the garden. Now I want to take you over to a very special place here where I've kept some frogs. And actually I'm going to put on my frog hat, and this was made by a very special friend of mine many years ago. You can open the hat. So this frog actually has a mouth, and this friend of mine called Helen, she made me this frog when I was actually in the business of kissing frogs, because I thought, you know, there's just that chance, if you kiss a frog, it might turn into a handsome prince. Now that hasn't happened for me yet, and I have actually kissed a few toads, but I've kept a few here, I've kept a few frogs, and just in case they might turn. I don't think they will, because they're a bit old now, a bit like me, but you know, I'm an optimist. So I hope you've enjoyed this section of my garden, and next episode I'm going to take you into totem colour. So until then, goodbye with love, Joanna.